Hey, South Bay. I'm Jeff Pollard at solarpowerthepeople.org and Jeff Pollard11 on Instagram. I'm with Adam Schwartz. Now, let me hold this up. He did something called the Great North American Road Trip. What are you talking about?
It was a 61-day, 22,000-mile road trip with basically the idea, what is the biggest loop that you can drive on this continent? This continent meaning the United States and Canada.
Wow, okay. See, that's crazy, because anytime, I'm guilty of being like, okay, North America, you're just going through the states, and doing all that. You just went above and beyond. Okay, so that's awesome. What was like, what is the thing that like planned, what came about? How did this come to fruition? What made you want to do this?
I've always wanted to do a, major road trip around North America with like a best friend ever since I was in elementary school.
Okay.
But what really kick-started planning this trip was actually a plane trip to Iceland and flying above northern Quebec, looking out the window and just seeing, I'm this far north and there is almost no evidence of humanity down there at all.
Yes.
What is up there? How can you access this? What can you see of it? And I've always been a big road tripper.
Okay.
Too.
Awesome.
I mean, I hit all 50 states when I was in college.
Okay.
Actually, so I just wanted to do something, bigger. What's the biggest thing you can do? And just like get all the way out to the edges on all sides, see everything.
So we got a doer here. That's what I would appreciate. Okay, that's awesome. So you did that, and like let's get into the people that want to do the same thing or something. Like what's the kind of planning? Well, like how much planning did you do ahead of time? Like, well, give me some broad strokes of like how that has to.
I did a ton of planning. I mean, this is what I was doing for a lot of COVID lockdown as well. But one of the biggest things I learned on this trip is no matter how much planning you do, there will be things that will toss you off.
There are gonna be a few variables. Okay.
Yeah, especially with eating, because one of the biggest things you can plan is where you're gonna eat. Because on a road trip, far too often, you're going down some interstate, you're just looking at the signs, you're just like, am I gonna go to Subway today? I guess I'm gonna go to Subway.
Yeah, I believe that.
And you just don't know where you are, and you just find something familiar, and you get some food.
Yeah.
But actually, researching like what are the good tasty places in every area and everything is absolutely one of the most important parts of planning.
Oh yeah. When you're traveling, it's like not only the sights, but you want to enjoy what you're eating. We are going to do an extended version of this, so please watch at the end of this video, and you'll see the videos attached to this, to where you can watch a more extended talk that we've had about his trip, which is very fascinating. So I appreciate that. So yeah, there are parts where you're going on a trip and you're not getting cell service, so you can't just like look up Yelp. I mean, I'm almost thinking like a true millennial, or even, it's like you can't use what you have or what you're familiar with. And like what you were saying, it's like, do you want to try to find that mom and pop place, which you can't just easily search. You have to like go to that gas station old school style and ask the guy, hey, where can I eat? Those things are real. You don't think about it.
That's why you got to do all that research ahead of time, so you just know where you're going.
And it says here that you went, or tell us when you went.
I left June 8th.
Okay. 2022.
June 9th, 2022, actually. And got back August 8th. So it was almost exactly 2 months.
Okay, and so you're thinking, like, as an audience member, this is summertime, and you went counterclockwise.
Yeah.
So he went all the way up to
north
California.
first, and then east, then south, then back west, roughly.
Okay. So, like, for people that don't travel that often, you would think, oh, SoCal, I could dress in shorts and all that. Tell us briefly the kinds of outfits you had to wear for that.
Everything. I mean, I was in every kind of climate. So, I mean, I could barely look out my back window when I left. That's how much stuff I had to bring. I mean, I had to bring everything from like super light layers and bathing suits for like, Florida, to an actual full-on parka and beanie for Alaska.
Yeah.
And everything in between. I mean, you know, most of the days in the cooler areas were jeans, t-shirt, and a hoodie, especially because the mosquitoes in the north are really, really bad. So you want to cover as much of yourself as you can.
See, I almost want to take that challenge because mosquitoes don't like me. They don't eat me. So I always want to see if that's like the case everywhere else. Because I went to some, you know, crazy tropical places too. Anyway, beside the point.
Talk about that
challenge
for a long time.
accepted.
It's a lot up there. Trust me.
And so, were you in like a sedan, a truck? What kind of vehicle were you in?
Subaru Outback, and I was so glad I did.
With one other person, correct?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I would not have wanted to do this alone. That would have been a lot. Originally, I was going to do it in my Prius.
Okay.
But I was dissuaded from that and eventually was able to sell that.
Okay.
And I had a Ford Escape for a while.
Okay.
That I was going to do this trip in 2021.
Okay.
But the mileage of that was just not super great. So I was able to sell that during the peak of the used car market.
Okay.
And that ridiculous windfall from that ridiculous market was actually what funded almost all of my hotels along the trip. Yeah, right? Right? Exactly.
Random question. If you were to pick a vehicle, you know, for this entire trip, what would you say like the most optimal one would be or whatnot?
I mean, I did a lot of research and I picked the Subaru Outback for the reason of taking it on this trip.
Okay.
I mean, I loved having my Prius back in the day. That was a great car. It's a perfect road trip car for, you know, your usual kind of highway or interstate travel.
Okay.
But when you're talking about like dirt roads and remote areas and wanting to pack as much as you can, I was thrilled with my Subaru. It has a huge tank. My Prius only had 10 gallons. My Subaru has 18.
Okay, that's helpful.
So just the idea of not having to stop at every gas station, especially when they're few and far between, is massively helpful.
Okay.
And you know, tons of storage too.
Okay.
Especially when you need to bring your 2 full spares to go on these dirt roads.
Which we do mention. 2 full-size tires.
Mounted on rims, takes up 60% of your trunk room, just like that.
But you do need to do this.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
So what, like broad strokes, obviously, what kind of budget is somebody looking at doing this? I mean, every trip's different. You might not do 61 days, you might, but like, just, can you give us a fair idea?
I mean,
without going
everyone
rude
knows
in terms of budget.
Summer 2022 was not a great time for gas prices.
No.
I spent $4,000 in gas alone.
On gas alone.
On gas alone, especially because Canada doesn't subsidize gas in the same way as we do here in the United States. And they also have like Canadian cents per liter, so I had no idea what I was actually paying. I was like, great, 220. I don't know what that means, but that's a big number.
By this
I
time,
would be paying like $100 for a tank often in Canada. Which was brutal. But I mean, when you're in like Louisiana and Texas, it was like $3.12 for a gallon. So you got the full range. In northern Alaska, though, in Dead Horse, I got up to $8.08.
$8.08. See, and that's like, and like I get it, but it's like we were talking about in the other video, pipelines, and that's where you would think like Texas, where like a lot of gases, they tried.
Well, they take it out of the ground there,
but
pipe it down through the pristine wilderness to the south of Alaska, put it on ships, bring it down here to get refined, and then it gets sent all the way back up to be able to put in your car. So it's been on a hell of a journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's done as much as he had.
Exactly.
I like that. Okay, so you went around, you gave us kind of a money thing, kind of gave us a clothes and all that thing. That's pretty cool. What is... I want to finish this with kind of like, what is like one of the few key things? What are like tips you want to give people that you can think of the top of your head? But also, let's start with like the things that you just enjoyed seeing throughout this whole trip. Through Alaska, Canada, and the States.
I think
what I big highlight
in terms of like what I enjoyed on a grand scale the most, I would say going through the north during the summer. And having the really long days. Because nothing's worse on a road trip than, the sun goes down and all you see is like 50 feet ahead of you on the highway and you're just seeing pavement move. You may as well be in a plane at that point. But just to be able to be out and about at like 10 p.m. and wearing your sunglasses
Yeah.
and everything is so cool, especially
Okay.
once you go north of the Arctic Circle and
Okay.
it's just eternal afternoon. You don't even get twilight.
Sure.
That's so special.
It is. It's a feeling.
Also, I mean,
Um,
just Canada's so lovely.
I haven't touched it yet. I want to go to
it's
Canada.
so great. Yeah. We went to 12 out of 13 of Canada's territories and provinces.
I was gonna say, yeah, okay. Okay.
We only missed Northwest Territories. We'll go there on a future road trip.
Ah, man,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Ironically, we managed to visit the Canadian territory, Nunavut, that has no roads leading to it, but we didn't manage to get to Northwest Territory, which has a road that goes there.
It's funny. That's usually how it works out. You know, like the main popular. Anyway.
Leave it for
The
next
side.
time. Always leave something for next time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some like major tips you would want to give people for this?
Prep. Just
Okay.
do your research, know where you're going, know where you're staying. It's really fun to wing road trips in the lower 48 here. Just, you know, I'll figure out where I'll stay. There'll always be a hotel.
Yeah.
If you're going to remote places like that,
Yeah.
know where you're going to eat, know where you're going to stay. Do it as far in advance as possible, especially if you're going to go around solstice time
Okay.
to like Alaska and the serious north. You got to be prepared. Of course, bring your 2 full spares if you're doing like dirt road stuff, especially the Dalton Highway.
Okay.
And respect trucks. Even
Okay.
when they don't respect you, there could be some very disrespectful
Okay.
truckers out there as well, but most of them are great.
Okay.
But you gotta respect them, especially on the more remote bits. And to save a lot of money on windshields, if a truck is coming the other way,
Yeah.
tap your brakes. Don't slam on your brakes so much that you're gonna get rear-ended, but go as slow as you can, and that will save your windshield.
Okay.
I could have
okay.
gone through half a dozen windshields on that trip, but I only had to do 1 replacement and then 1 repair when I got home.
So prepare, and then also realize that with a road trip, you're gonna beat up your car. So
Yeah.
you're gonna add some miles. You're gonna put some years onto that thing. So thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
Adam Schwartz. There's a lengthier version that I'm gonna post soon after. It's gonna be kind of maybe a 4-part thing, maybe longer. We'll see how that goes. But it's very fascinating. Please watch that and enjoy that. All his info is gonna be in the the boxes and all the social media, so you'll be able to click on him and find him. Enjoy his journey. See if it changes, because I'm sure it's Great American Trip on his bio now, but that'll change to something else that will be pretty cool. So please follow Adam Schwartz. I appreciate it.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you, guys. All right, see ya.